Welcome back to World News America. Here in Washington, the Senate has failed for a sixth time to pass a funding bill to end a government shutdown. As the shutdown enters its second week, Senate Democrats continue to press for talks to extend health care subsidies and a permanent extension of the Affordable Care Act. Republicans are pushing back, arguing that further talks can happen once the government reopens. Meanwhile, a lapse in funding has paused pay for essential federal workers. U.S. military members and their families are bracing for the possibility that their paychecks don't arrive on October 15th. House Speaker Mike Johnson said Wednesday Republicans will not back a standalone bill to pay U.S. troops if the shutdown continues. Travelers are also starting to feel the impact of the government shutdown, reporting flight delays across the country as the Federal Aviation Administration struggles with airport staffing shortages. Air traffic controllers and TSA agents are among essential workers expected to work without pay during the shutdown. And with us in the studio now is Nick Daniels, president of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association. Nick, very good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
How is this shutdown affecting air traffic controllers right now?
Right now, it's a complete psychological, unnecessary distraction that leads to stress, it leads to fatigue. That fatigue leads to anger, of already working in a system that's critically understaffed. We have unreliable equipment, and then you thrust us into the spotlight of a government shutdown. It's not anything an air traffic controller is asking for. We just want to go to work and save the lives that we do day in and day out.
Yeah. Passengers might be wondering what impact this has on them as well. I mean, what can you say to people who are maybe concerned about flying as air traffic controllers are impacted as well?
But passengers, whether they're international travelers, domestic travelers, they often think about showing up at the airport on time. Is my bag going to be there? Yeah. The last thing that they ever have to worry about is the air traffic controllers. We already operate with only 10,800 when there should be 14,633. We know the responsibility of and the burden that we carry every day to run this national airspace system. Their safety is our absolute number one priority. If there needs to be a reduction in traffic, we do that. But this is not something that's new for us. There's been hundreds of closures of airports across hundreds of air traffic control facilities across the nation since the beginning of 2025. This isn't something new. It's been something we've been trying to bring attention to the entire time.
Why is that? Why are we seeing this trend?
It is absolutely the critical staffing component of it. For a decade, we've been out advocating for it. And Secretary Duffy, we share his same vision of the supercharging and hiring of air traffic controllers, the modernization of this system that has been put on the back burner for far too long. But shutdowns like this absolutely show where the cracks in the system are and how important it is that we work on these issues instead of trying to figure out how to get out of a shutdown.
So air traffic controllers are stretched thin already. They're now not receiving paychecks until the government reopens. What are some of them saying about the impact this is having on them and their families?
It's being able to plan for anything long term. We are the same as every other American worker. We live paycheck to paycheck. We have the same stresses, the same pressures, except we go to one of the most high consequence jobs in the world. The government spends millions of dollars to make sure that we understand the impacts of stress, we understand the impacts of fatigue, we reduce distractions, and all three of those things are thrust into the forefront anytime a shutdown occurs and put them all right back on the table. That's what air traffic controllers are having to manage and go through. But it's also the uncertainty. Am I going to have to go to my primary job and then go after my primary job? I worked a night shift, and then the next morning I got to drive for Uber, so I have a steady stream of income, so that way I can put food on the table, gas in my car, or get my children to some level of childcare. That's the reality of what we face.
You're saying air traffic controllers are now possibly working 2 or 3 jobs?
Not yet, but when we saw the 35-day government shutdown, on October 14th, we see a partial paycheck. That will hurt. On October 28th, we see a $0 paycheck. And at that point, the air traffic controllers are going to have to look at, again, we're going to show up. We're going to do our job. We're going to do everything that we can to hold the system together. But then you have to go and make the choices of, on this shift, do I go and find a steady stream of income? And we don't want air traffic controllers working a second job. Right. We just want them worrying about their primary job, and that's the job that they love to do.
Yeah, of course. It takes such high concentration, high levels of concentration. If this heavy load continues and the shutdown doesn't end, in the coming days that soon, could we start to see some airports have to, cut back the number of flights that they offer? I mean, what is the impact that we will see there?
The impact that you see is any given day, we already deal with these issues.
Yeah.
And we mitigate them, whether a tower can't open, whether we don't have enough staffing. I can give you a direct example, but it's not something that often gets reported because it's not, on the front line of the news. It's Midland, Texas, hasn't been able to open one of their radar positions in 6 months. So another set of air traffic controllers are working that airspace. They have to work it at a reduced rate. They can't put as many aircraft through there as the controllers at Midland who want to work it, but they're at 47% staffing. Now, Fort Worth Center has to pick up that work, just like happened in Burbank last night. So it's something that we're used to dealing with. Passengers already give us the grace of knowing the scrutiny that we're under during this time, but also the patience of realizing this system's been broken and we're trying to fix it.
Before we let you go, what is a message that you would give to Republicans and Democrats on the Hill, the president perhaps, on the shutdown?
I would make it very clear. In the government shutdown, our elected leaders need to open this government. The air traffic controllers did not start a shutdown. The air traffic controllers are not responsible for ending a shutdown. It is unfair to put that on the backs of the hardworking men and women. And when you're thrust into the front, the hyper focus of this, people are finally getting to see what we deal with every single day. So in the shutdown, open the government, let us do the job of bringing the national airspace system to the gold standard that it deserves to be.
Okay, Nick, great to get your perspective. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on BBC News.
Thank you for having me.